perception at our U.S. ports of entry. To overcome this negative perception, the Department of Homeland Security's Customs and Border Protection established the Model Ports Program, a prototype environment that accommodates increased security screening while providing an experience that is welcoming, understandable, respectful, time-efficient, and less stressful. This welcome experience is vital to Hawaii and provides the initial unfolding of the Aloha spirit, synonymous and unique to Hawaii. What will you do to further support, enhance, streamline this process to provide a delicate balance of security, efficiency, and the Aloha spirits to our visitors, and the Aloha spirit our visitors have come to expect?
Thank you. Very quickly, the Model Ports program has been absolutely wonderful, and it's something that should be implemented across our country. I understand and recognize, having represented Waikiki for the last 8 years, you don't want stressed out visitors coming here to our islands. All too often I hear stories when I go through my district here in Waikiki about visitors who get off the airplane, particularly international visitors, who have a long, stressful experience. And the first thing they want to do when they get off the airplane is go to one of your businesses and immediately engage in one of the wonderful activities here in Hawaii, such as snorkeling or parasailing or doing one of the many hundreds, thousands of wonderful things here in Hawaii. But if you make a particularly stressful experience when you immediately land on the airport, the first thing that they want to do isn't go to one of these activities. It isn't even to go to one of the hotel's restaurants. All they'll do is they go to the hotel and lie down and take a nap. And for us in the visitor industry, that doesn't do any of us any good. So I do think that the federal government has to make sure that we do have a welcoming experience. And of course, though, it needs to be balanced. All it takes is one bad incident, and we'll see a precipitous drop-off in visitors here in Hawaii. It doesn't require a whole heck of a lot, particularly for visitors from Japan, to have one even minor security scare to all of a sudden see a drop-off in the frequency and number of visitors. What is essential for the federal government to do is make sure we have a sufficient number of screeners so that we can handle volume, move people through very quickly with a minimum amount of hassles as you come here in Hawaii without compromising our security. Because the worst thing that could happen to us here in this island is to have a major security incident at Honolulu International Airport or one of our other international airports. And it would only take one day, but would devastate our industry for months to come. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Senator Russo.
Just to clarify, we each have 2 minutes?
Yes.
Thank you. First of all, I think that it's absolutely true. We need the balance between security, but we also need to ensure that when visitors come here, that it is a positive experience. I think for most of us, we don't really recognize what foreign visitors in particular have to go through. Language barriers, for example, knowing which line to be in, and having people who can speak the language. I was reading something and I thought it was very interesting, that, we also have to recognize that times have changed. One of the interesting things that I read about was how they collaborated with Disney to come up with Portraits of America to give people sort of a visual, nice introduction versus those little rooms that you usually go through when you come to customs. And then being able to facilitate and look at what it is that they need. I think as we are supposed to be doing a very good job with the Japanese tourists as they come into our customs areas. But now, as we try to do more, especially with the Korean visa waiver now, and we're trying to, of course, develop more from China, we're going to need to understand what it is that these visitors need, especially for Honolulu, because we are becoming the entry point for many of these visitors. So we need to understand how we're going to do that. And I think that's all part of this Model Ports program that we are looking at. But many of the different programs that are listed here by the NBTA are very interrelated as to how we make this visit a very good one. And one of the things that, for example, we must look at the ESTA program and also global entry. So as we start to do all of these things, we're working for one objective. That is so that it makes it a pleasant experience. But remember, we're looking here at the business traveler. Business travelers want to just get in, get out, do their work. So this is one of the reasons why I think all of these various programs programs that are being supported by the MBTA and how it works. We need to really make it all part of the total picture.
Thank you. Representative Davis.
Thank you. I'm sorry to do this to you, but we're about 10 days away from the end of this campaign. Many of you are going to go out and vote still, and we do have a few cameras here. So I just want to ask Charles about this particular attack. Charles, do you believe...
Actually, Mr. Case, we'll have a second question that might be a better opportunity to raise that at.
Well, I'm a little concerned that you'll be gone by then.
Okay.
I just want to
We'll
answer
actually
what
hit
is
that
the-
question second, if that would be acceptable. It'll be the next question that we go to, and maybe you can address it there.
Okay. I believe very much in the model courts program and on all other aspects of the opportunity, ability, and efforts we have to make travel easier. I think we have to paint the big picture. I always believe in going back to the big picture because I think if we do that, things flow a little bit easier. Of course, we want travel to be easier to this country and to this state. We want people to be able to come here as easily as possible. In an ideal world, we would have borderless, effortless travel. Anybody that wants to get on a plane in China or Korea or the Philippines come here. And we have worked very hard to get to that point where we in fact can accomplish that. We have a visa waiver program. I appreciate that Canada supports the South Korea visa waiver program. I worked hard on that when I was in Congress. There are other countries, we all know, for example, that in Japan, our entire tourism industry depends on the visa waiver program from Japan, and we need to maintain that. We have to be very realistic about security in this dynamic age. There's no question about it. The Model Courts program allows us to try to find a balance to bring people in easily and with the minimum of inconvenience and the experience. What we have to do specifically on the Model Courts program is to make this a permanent program. This is a temporary program right now. It's authorized only in an appropriations bill. So we have to go back to the FAA authorization bill, which is coming up, and make this a permanent program so that we don't have to go back and revisit it every couple of years.
Thank you very much. For the second question, our first response will be from Senator Hanabuso. Although business travel is beginning to pick up, many destinations like Hawaii continue to feel the effects of the new corporate travel guidelines that were put into place last year. However well-intentioned the business travel policies were in addressing the problem and perception of corporate excess, they have contributed to our economic challenges. For example, the new pharma code that was adopted last year is a prime example. Although it does not prohibit pharmaceutical companies from sponsoring medical meetings, it has caused confusion and affected many medical meetings that have been coming to Hawaii for years. What, if anything, can be done by Congress to help clarify that legitimate business travel should be encouraged?
Thank you. When I saw that question, I actually pulled it out. This is the pharma code. You can imagine it. And what it is, so that we all understand it, it's really a matter of perception more than anything else. It is a perception that with Murphy Roberts, who said Hawaii is exotic, and that caused this whole uproar and how it affected us, and then after that we became a business destination that was viewed more like a junket or something other than something that's very serious. So when you look at something like this, it really isn't anything that's legislative. It is something that corporations, because of the fear of being criticized, right? The fear of being criticized are doing this. So even if we were to do things in Congress, such as internal revenue codes or whatever else, to ensure that these are not, quote, illegal, and they're not illegal, the question becomes, how do we change the perception? And I gave it a long and hard thought. And I have to say, the one thing that I think would probably change that perception is something that we're coming up next year, and that's APEC. If you look at something like APEC, where you have 21 leaders coming into Hawaii, choosing Hawaii as a place to do very serious business because of a whole variety of reasons. Security is probably going to be one of the major ones. And when you think about that perception internationally, I think that's going to do a lot for this perception. In the meantime, we need